Well, guess what? I tried to live stream on the iPhone, but I used the iPhone to make some videos this morning for my other channel, and he went capoodle. So I can't always control like the charge on my phone. And like I say, I want to buy a better camera eventually, but I'm actually pretty happy with the technology that I do have. I'm slowly cleaning and organizing my house and decluttering things. I think I want to get rid of a couple. Well, it's not exactly an appliance, but I just want to throw away the soda stream because I tried to throw it away the other day, but then my mom's like, "Oh no, I want it," and I'm like, "Why? Why do you want it?" I don't know. I Parts of it just don't work properly because I didn't put the bottle part in the dishwasher, but once it got put in there, it got all warped. And then I tried to use it and it wasn't working quite correctly. And honestly, I would never pay for a soda stream. I'd rather just buy like the sparkly water at the grocery store because it's expensive and it's not even as carbonated. Like I like super carbonated water. If I'm gonna drink sparkly water, I'm not drinking it because I want to drink soda. Like I just want something that's very carbonated because to me that's so refreshing. And people are always telling me like what I should enjoy. People are like, you should just have a refillable water bottle and just drink out of that. But to be truthful with you, like I like carbonated water, and I'm kind of over this era where everybody's telling us what we're supposed to like and what we're supposed to enjoy, which kind of this is going to coalesce into my discussion about TikTok. So I've never felt like everybody had to get on TikTok, but I wasn't an early user of TikTok. I've never really blown up on TikTok. I don't really talk a lot on TikTok. Although today I asked somebody responded to one of my comments on TikTok because sometimes I don't really understand things that like the thing about TikTok though that I do like is it does like there is a lot of content on there that I'm like, wow, how did you know that I was interested in that? Yes, there are people over 30, over 35. There's even like 70-year-olds on TikTok. So let's dispel the myth that only young people are dancing in TikTok. Maybe that was true like 4 years ago. But I'll tell you something. Maybe TikTok became my pandemic friend because during the pandemic, I did download TikTok and I started using it. I would say maybe the first time I used it was like a month before pandemic time. And I don't know, I used it a little bit here and there and I was having fun with it. And it did things. Like it had abilities. Like you could do things with like screens and like I don't use filters personally, but just different fun little effects that you couldn't do on Instagram. And I like to learn about new technologies and I enjoy using new things. And I know everybody was like, but TikTok's a spy app. It's a spy app. Okay. So I have a lot of questions about these things. I know people have misgivings about TikTok because they think it might be like big tech from China might be spying on American citizens. But here's the thing about TikTok. I mean, they do say that they're owned by a Singapore subsidiary, and if the CEO of TikTok saying he's Singaporean, and these congressional hearings won't let him get a word in edgewise, I do feel like there's a little bit of racism here. Okay, is it another story of an Asian person not being able to speak? And I know some people are going to be like, no, it's not racist, but I don't know. It harkens back to also another thing in the 90s. They used to think like rap music and heavy metal music and any kind of metal music was just really bad. And there was a congressional hearing about that. And I don't remember the name. He was from Twisted Sister, which is a really, I don't know, Twisted Sister was a good band, okay? Very creative. I'm glad that my parents weren't closed-minded about like metal music or like psychedelic music or hippie music. Like we listen to all kinds of music. But some people are like, oh my gosh, if you listen to this song, like you're gonna go to hell in a handbasket. It's ridiculous. Like they're kind of doing the same thing now with TikTok. So let's be honest. All of a sudden TikTok's a problem now. I don't know. I don't think I completely buy the story. So here's the thing. I don't know if I agree with like any government telling people what websites that they can use. Like I don't agree with the TikTok ban, okay? If you think that TikTok's a security issue, then don't use it. It's that simple. But some people have been pointing something out recently that whenever there is like an actual security issue, that they're supposed to brief Congress on what specific. AOC actually said this, and I don't agree with AOC on everything, but she had a really good point. If there was a true security issue with TikTok, they were supposed to brief the congressional hearing on specifically what it was, but that hasn't been provided. You should watch AOC's TikTok video about it. And I have big questions why all of a sudden you have both Democrats and Republicans, and they're all getting together and they're all really concerned about TikTok. I really don't think TikTok's a problem. I've been kind of wondering, does it have something to do with like competition in Silicon Valley and Mark Zuckerberg, and how? I mean, I don't know. I know he felt like he had to do backflips because after the 2016 election, like he was being accused of letting Russian people manipulate the election on social media, and they were saying, "Oh no, bad boy!" Like Facebook could be in a lot of trouble, and now it's beginning to feel like American tech just doesn't want TikTok to have a piece of the pie because they are doing something better. Okay, I know a lot of people really hate TikTok. You don't have to love TikTok, but as somebody who's a rational person who I feel has pretty good taste and common sense, I can tell you TikTok's actually kind of fun, and it shows me videos from like-minded people. Sometimes I see things on there, I'm like, no, this doesn't apply to me. Or it opens up interesting conversations. Or like if you want to know what's really happening, like when there was a big snowfall up in the San Bernardino Mountains, people were posting it. Or the Iranian, new revolution, like there were things that people posted that were very just relevant to the moment, and Instagram's just not doing that. There's something about TikTok that Instagram couldn't do. That even YouTube Shorts, like, and let's be real here, YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, they're trying to copy something that TikTok was very innovative at. And even if the parent company is a Chinese company that might use US data to some degree, I mean, the CEO of TikTok said that's not going to be an issue now. They said that all the information of Americans is going to be stored on American soil. So I don't know, are we really going to go after TikTok? Really? I mean, can't Americans be allowed, or anybody really, be allowed to decide what app they're using? Why do we need our government to say we can't use a certain app? I don't know. To me, I feel like it's kind of problematic because we get down on other countries that would ban US-based, tech companies, but now we're kind of doing the same thing. And I don't really buy, because if you listen to AOC's video, what is the actual danger of TikTok? Like, I'm not saying that some of our information doesn't end up with the Chinese, Communist Party to some degree. Of course it might. But on the same token, do you think American tech companies that have some lobbying with the U.S. government hasn't had, some of U.S. data? I mean, every tech company spies on people to some degree. So why is TikTok the problem? It kind of makes me think, does this have anything to do with that Silicon Valley bank that failed recently? Is there some sort of connection? And at those congressional hearings, they were very concerned, they kept saying this, that TikTok was profiting off Americans. But to me, I don't know if that's what I was buying. I feel like what the problem was, we can't have you in our back pocket like Mark Zuckerberg. We can't use you to lobby. We're not making some sort of profit off you. And I think that's what it is. I think that's what it's going to come down to, is that American politicians want to make a profit off TikTok to some degree. And, whatever, that's what happens. But I think some of it is down to jealousy over TikTok being an innovative app, and that the world has changed, and they keep trying to trivialize TikTok and say it's just about little kids dancing. But there's a lot of small businesses, and I wish I remember the Singaporean CEO's name, but like he said, a lot of small businesses are able to advertise on TikTok, and they've done very well. And this is something that Instagram, the thing about Instagram that made it harder was Instagram only really shows your information to very like-minded people. So it's kind of hard to reach a wider audience if you're a business person. And with TikTok, you didn't really have to pay for ads. And during the pandemic, I'm eating my grapefruit smoothie, by the way. During the pandemic, a lot of people really liked that. So I don't really think TikTok's the evil villain that everybody made it out to be. But I mean, if you're a federal employee and you work in national security, yeah, and there's concern about you using TikTok, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't be using TikTok. But for regular U.S. citizens who are just talking about, I don't know, crafting or celebrities or I don't know, just anything, I don't really see how it's any different than Instagram or other tech companies that have used our data. And it sounds like, okay, you want to regulate TikTok, it's going to happen anyway. But I think a lot of this is down to a jealousy issue. Okay, so you could ban TikTok, right? Ban it so Americans can't be on TikTok anymore. But the people who really want to be on TikTok, I mean, I'm not going to go to these links. I'm not going to, like, if they ban, I'm like, whatever. End of the world. I'll just use YouTube Shorts and Instagram, which I like too. But I don't know. I don't go on TikTok every single day, but I have to say it's kind of fun. I don't have cable TV. I got rid of cable TV before streaming was a bigger thing, like in 2010. I just didn't want it anymore, and I just had the internet. And I don't know, like I don't watch. I just feel like I sometimes wouldn't mind just taking a peeky peek at TikTok as opposed to like watching TV or something. But that's like my preference. Like I like that it connects you with people and you hear their stories. And I've met some very interesting people. Like I don't know them personally, but I've just seen glimpses of their life on TikTok, and it's just compelling. And I feel like that is part of the thing. At the end of the day, it's it's hard to kind of what Google did in 2008, 9, in my opinion. In my opinion, where they had the Panda update, where they just didn't want regular people, which, by the way, small businesses. I kind of feel like the CEO of TikTok, the Singaporean CEO, maybe he is actually more pro free small business than these corporate bigwigs. And Mark Zuckerberger's always been in the back pocket of them. So, and I don't really care. Do you want to be a corporatist? I don't care. But at the end of the day, I think that's what a lot of this is about is they want to make a profit. And here's another thing. They were saying that, like, they had I guess at the congressional hearing services, like, little montage of like videos, and they were saying this one picture was from a woman that overdosed on Benadryl, and she talked about it on TikTok, and she said that picture was before TikTok was even a thing in like 2018, and it was related to something else. Embarrassing, okay? Like, so once again, we have congressional representatives not vetting information that they're like, and that's just one small thing. If we know for a fact that's one small thing that they didn't vet at these congressional hearings, maybe there's other things. And we also have to think back to, is this about self-expression? So you might not like TikTok. You do not have to like TikTok, but it goes back to, remember, I don't know if you grew up in the 90s. Do you remember how, oh my God, metal music is evil, and how Tipper Gore, she just thought, like, even though she was in a high school band, she thought that heavy metal music was evil, and she wanted to like censor it, and all those congressional hearings. I just feel like it's kind of the same vibe. It's wanting to control what people say. And yeah, to some degree it is. I think the bigger issue is its profit. There might be some, okay, yes, there might be some security issues with TikTok, but I'm going to say other websites and other tech companies have done the same enchilada thing. And from what it sounds like, TikTok's being scrutinized more. And I do have a big problem if you're not letting the CEO of TikTok finish his sentences, and you're just like ramming the questions and you're cutting him off. That makes our congressional representatives look very like irrational. I wouldn't buy that because they're just cutting him off. They're not letting him speak, and they're acting like TikTok is the only place. And then they're taking it farther. They're like short form content. Like it could be problematic. Short form content. I think at the end of the day, it goes back down to Google Panda. Because remember, what was the point and the purpose and the premise of Google Panda. Well, the purpose of Google Panda was this. They didn't want like small businesses or small creators to like be trendy in search results. They wanted bigger companies, bigger media corporate companies, like because now if you type in how to do like if I were to get my phone right now, and this is an example. So let's say back in 2008, if you were to type in how to create like a messy bun, who would be like the top search? And I'm just going to kind of show you an example. I'm going to go to Google. And this is pertinent because now a lot of younger people and other people are beginning to use TikTok as a search engine more than Google. So think about it for a second. I know people are like, oh no, it couldn't be that. This is not true. Like, so if I were to type in, I just go to home, how to make a messy bun. I know back in the days, you would see like some, WordPress blogs or personal blogs. Hi, how you doing? You would see some of the other things. So, like the top result is a YouTube video. I think I might be logged in on this account. And here's like a lot of it's a YouTube video, and then you have other like bigger sites, and then you have like a bigger site called makeup.com and WikiHow. So basically, and you have some Reddit. Okay, how to apply lipstick. I'm just telling you different things. How to apply lipstick. Like, what is it going to say? Oh, like, look at this. Like, the main one, there's always been ads, but it's like CoverGirl. Juvia's ESL Beauty. I have a gift. Well, that one is WikiHow. I mean, Maybelline, Style Craze. A lot of the things that come up tippy top in the search are going to be like major media corporations. But it didn't used to be that way in 2008 and 9, before the Google Panda. Okay, so let me give it another example. Like I could say how to dress like a 1940s woman. Like, let's see. Like, if I tell it something that's not as mainstream, like, okay, so this is funny. You get a lot of ads for Shein. Like, TikTok's so worried about, Google's so worried about TikTok being from China, but their main like thing that you see is an ad for Shein, which is based in China. You get okay, so for this one, you actually get some other sites that are not mainstream. Like you get some other like non-mainstream sites, which is kind of cool. You kind of get, but then it still goes down to an Amazon ad. So I have no problems with ads and advertising, but let's be real. Unless it's something that's like more not super mainstream, a lot of what you're going to see in a Google search result is going to be like major media corporations. And it used to be you could have your own website, or you could write on a website like Hub Pages, and you would rank. Or I created my own blogs, like my own WordPress blogs, but I had created one for a while called Pub Wages. Like a lot of people used to do blogs, like before YouTube became a bigger thing. A lot of us used to write little posts on blogs, and those would rank. And those don't really rank anymore, like they do to some extent, but not like they once did. Like now everybody wants to be on Instagram because, well, that's where visibility is. You still can, like, if it's a more niche topic and you have people that are looking for like research and pictures who want to read a blog, like recipe blogs can still be a thing. But even with recipes, the major recipe websites are going to outrank like a nice WordPress blog on how to make banana bread, So At the end of the day, I do find it funny. Google's very worried about TikTok being based in China, but their main search result was an ad for Shein, which is a Chinese conglomerate that sells clothing for that one search topic. And they had something that kind of looked like it was from the 1940s. So, maybe it's about money, guys. It seems like Google's okay with you being from China as long as you're buying ads for them like Shein. Then it's okay, buddies. But if you're TikTok and it's just people that are like connecting with each other and making little videos, and the congressional representatives like, who's profiting off that? Like, there might be some profits from TikTok, but his main worry was, oh, you mean Google and Facebook and him? They're not profiting off that. That's what he's telling you, guys. He's not like, oh my god, like, that's the problem. They don't really care that TikTok spied on people. They don't really care about any of that. And at the end of the day, they couldn't provide a report of the specific security breaches to that congressional hearing. And like AOC said, they do that with everything else, but they didn't seem to have that to show for TikTok. And if the CEO is saying that the US data is based in Los Angeles and they're not based in China, I mean, and it sounds like they're scrutinizing TikTok more than other platforms. I'm like, I don't think he was lying. You can think he's lying, but here at the end of the day, this is my solution for you. And this is the way I think it should be, but I know it's not the way it's going to be. How about we let people decide what platform they use? Like, if you don't want to use TikTok, look, in general, I love YouTube more. Like, YouTube's my favorite one, but I will look at TikTok sometimes. I just don't think it's the scary monster that everybody else, well, not everybody else, but all the anti-TikTok people are like, oh my god, how dare you, like, look at TikTok. It's going to make people really. It's beginning to feel, it's reminiscent of like the 90s talking points where people said, if you play video games, you're going to overdose on like Benadryl or like overdose on like, I don't know, marijuana, and you're gonna end up like in crazy stuff. Like there were literally people like that were saying this in politics and even in the education profession that were saying things like that back in the 90s. And now there's all these people that grew up playing video games and they're very successful and they hold down jobs, and some of them are tech, like they work in tech. So everything that they tell you is really scary and it's going to ruin you in some way and it's going to ruin people in some way. It's not true. And then like when they say right now that short form content is going to ruin people in some way and it recommends lots of bad stuff, I'll tell you when it recommends lots of bad stuff. If you have somebody that's making bad choices in life and they're searching for things like that, then yeah, some stuff like that might show up in the feed. But I've never seen these type of videos that they were talking about. People were looking for those things. And I'm going to tell you this, you can filter that out and you can try and like make it not available, but the people who want to find it, they're just going to go on the dark web or they're going to use a VPN to find that bad information anyway, or they're going to talk to some kids at high school. So people that are looking for bad information, they're going to find the bad information anyway because that's what they're looking for. So I guess it comes down to this. Do we want to, like, yes, if something's dangerous and scary, yeah, you probably should filter it out. But I feel like TikTok's trying to do that, and they do it better than Instagram. Example, I could type in, like, I want to show some examples, okay? It's example time. We're going to pull up the TikTok app, and I'm going to show you things that I think will confirm this. Okay, so, they always talk about how on Instagram, the big booty girls, like, oh my god, they're all over Instagram. So I could type in big butt girls. Like, this is so random. Yeah, I can type this in and I want to show you something. Oh my god, look at this. This is our beloved Instagram. And there's lots and lots of results with that. Big butt girls. I don't care. You want to show your butt off? Like, does that I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, this is down to parents. Like, if parents aren't monitoring their social media and what their kids are looking at, I mean, you go to TikTok. Let's see, same thing. I just want to see, like, is that going to also show up on TikTok if we, okay, big, I'm just giving it examples just to see what it shows us. Like, oh, okay, I want to show you something that TikTok does better than Instagram. This is proof in the pudding. This phrase may be associated with behavior or content that violates our guidelines. Promoting a safe and positive experience is TikTok's top priority. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, there it is. That's the same search result that I typed into Instagram that showed a lot of it. Typed it into TikTok. So they're actually, like they said, the CEO of TikTok did not lie when he said they are more protective of younger viewers than Instagram is. Like, not that I'm offended by the big butt girls, but I'm just saying, for example, like, let's type something else in it. Drinking vodka. I'm just giving it examples. Like, these are just random. Okay, drinking vodka. And I don't even drink vodka, but let's just see what, when I type that in to Instagram. Look at this. Ooh, and yes, I'm over 18. But anybody could lie to either app and tell it that it's over 18, and you see lots and lots of pictures of people drinking vodka. And you see a close-up of somebody drinking vodka on the beach. Now, let's go to TikTok. I don't know why I feel so passionate about this, but I feel like I'm finally proving my point. Drinking, I'm doing it. Okay, I'm on TikTok. Right here, I'm typing it in. Just giving it examples. Drinking vodka. Okay, so there's some examples here. It's kind of the same. Maybe it's more, I'm thinking it's more sexual content. The Instagram's more showing than the TikTokers. So let's look at this. Sexy men. Let's see what Instagram shows us. If we type in sexy men. I'm just giving it examples. Sexy men. And now it's telling me accounts of sexy men that I could follow. They're very, yeah, that's what TikTok's showing you. Okay, so let's go in, not TikTok, this is Instagram, sorry. That's Instagram showing you all these sexy men. That's what it, and it's pretty explicit, some of it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty explicit. So let's see what TikTok shows us. Well, there's some guys without their shirts on. But at the end of the day, big butt girls on TikTok gets this warning about how it's not a phrase that's allowed. And you go to Instagram and you type in big butt girls. And yeah, I mean, you get some accounts, but it just seems like okay, let's go to tags, big butt girls. Here's a hashtag for big butt girls on Instagram. Does TikTok have a hashtag for big butt girls? Let's see. Hashtags. Okay. Go to TikTok for that same hashtag. None. Sexy women tender. I'm just telling you different things, okay? Sexy women tender. Okay. So on Instagram, okay, so yeah, there's some things on TikTok that's kind of questionable, but it didn't like big butt girls. It didn't like that. And then you go to Instagram and I don't know. I guess maybe that particular topic, I guess people are really upset about the big butt thing, but some of the other stuff is kind of coming through. And I guess the vodka was about even on both. But it's interesting that TikTok, that one of the results was saying, I think in the beginning it was like trying to say, hey, like it's not really something that we promote, even though you're over 18, it's kind of giving a warning. Whereas I didn't get that warning on Instagram. I didn't get that warning on Instagram. Did I get that warning on Instagram? No, I did not. But TikTok gave it. So I would say, like, for like younger people, like I don't have an account for a younger person on, because I'm over 18. But what the CEO did say, I guess they said that they limit how much time per day the kids can look at TikTok. I don't know if Instagram does that too, but at the end of the day, why is it that parents aren't more aware of what their kids are doing? I think at the end of the day, this comes down to, are you looking at what your kids are doing? Like this is a parenting issue. It's not an app issue. Parents need to be aware. And this is going to be like, but not everybody has good parents. And we need the state to like get involved. Well, I mean, we should, like, if something really bad is happening, yeah, I'm sure, like, in those situations, I'm not like like an absolutist on everything. Like some people are very absolutist on it. If it is something really bad, then yeah. I mean, I don't think that people that don't feed their kids and like ride motorcycles through the house should have kids. Like maybe that makes me an absolutist. But I think in general, like if somebody's 14-year-old kid is on the TikTok and they're looking up things about doing vodka shots, that's up to the parents to get involved. Like, do we want the state being like, oh my God, but Instagram has the same thing. So I don't know. Like at the end of the day, you need to parent your own children. We can't be. So some of the messaging in the congressional hearing about how dangerous TikTok is. If you're looking for those things, yeah, I don't usually look for that stuff. I was just trying to do some educational examples, right? Of things you would see. I'm doing good. You don't have to like TikTok, Casey. That's the thing. I want it to be a personal decision for people, though. Like I feel like I just think at the end of the day, we have to let people decide if they like TikTok and decide if they want to use TikTok, and stop telling people this is what TikTok is when actually it's just like any other social media website. Like it's actually better. Like the discoverability on TikTok is better than Twitter. That's why a lot of people don't use Twitter for a long time, because Twitter, like you could put a hashtag and you're just not going to get the engagement. Like that's why a lot of small businesses used TikTok during the pandemic, because the discoverability, like there's something, the technology behind that app was just so good. So my like theory about it is, and a lot of people have been saying, I feel like it's more about money than like worried about like, is it a spy app? Because all of the internet could be a spy app to some degree. You know, all big tech, all governments spy on their citizens. They all do. It's not just TikTok doing it. That's the whole point about it. Is I feel like at the end of the day, we need to let people make their own decisions about what apps they want to use. And I don't even like Facebook that much anymore. Like I have a couple Facebook pages, but I don't know. Like Facebook was okay. Like years and years ago, I started out with MySpace, and I didn't love MySpace, and then everybody's like, we're using Facebook now, and I don't know. I wasn't in love with Facebook either. Like, and then I started using it more like in 2010 or 11, thinking, oh, I could like share like blog posts I'm writing here, but nobody would really engage with it. The only thing that people ever really wanted to see on Facebook was like if you posted a picture of your kids, or like I don't know, your dog, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Facebook. Like it just never got it. The Messenger's a little bit better because I feel like people you can message with, you know. So anyway, those are all my thoughts about the TikTok thing. I feel like some of it's been a little overblown. I don't think that it's as dangerous as people or our congressional representatives are making it out to be. I think there's a lot of hysteria around things when there's a dollar sign to be made. I think a lot of this is theater. I think you should be concerned when you have congressional representatives that will not let somebody get a word in edgewise. I would be very concerned. And some of the things just are a little racist to me. Like when he's talking about China and blah blah blah. And he's like, well, wait a minute, I'm Singaporean. Some of it's rude. Some of it's just rude. And they didn't even talk to Mark Zuckerberg like that back when they were concerned about the Russian election issue. Like some of it is just way off the rails, you know. At the end of the day, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, but that's not gonna prevent people who really want to use. Like honestly, like if they ban TikTok, I'm gonna be like, whatever. I can use something else. Like it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's been kind of fun, but it's not the end of the world. I just like to try and get down to the reason why they're doing something and not just like, you know, the mainstream news is going to tell you, and I'm not saying all mainstream news is wrong, but you have to remember at the end of the day, they're representing the mainstream view about how people feel about TikTok. And to me, it's kind of similar. Like the reaction to TikTok is kind of similar to how people like were about counterculture in the 60s or heavy metal in the 90s. You know, that's the whole point about this. Is let people make their own decisions. You know, I'm not an absolutist on everything. Like I said, if there's something that's really bad on a platform, yeah, definitely. If there's parents that are doing bad parenting, yeah, they shouldn't be parents. I'm not an absolutist. Absolutism is just bonkers. But I do think we need some moderation, and I do think we are telling a fibber if we pretend that Instagram is more pure than TikTok. As we saw in the search results, there's some real weird things that Instagram will show you right away, but TikTok kind of gives you a warning first. I think TikTok's like trying to say, hey, are you over 18? Because it seems like TikTok kind of might be more pushy that they don't want people under 18 looking at certain content because they've been getting a lot of heat for that than Instagram. Because Instagram didn't have any kind of warning. They're like sometimes they have warnings for some things, but I don't know. I don't search for a lot of stuff, but I was just giving examples of things that they said everybody was so worried about. For some reason, that is the thing that everybody's worried about. Yes, Instagram had a weird thing for a while where a lot of people were showing their butts. I don't know why. I don't know why that was a big thing. I don't know. It was trending. It was like, and now everybody's like really obsessed with that particular part. But when I used to post more on Instagram, like photography, like nature photography or vegan food, I wasn't thinking about that. It's all about what you're looking for at the end of the day, you know? Like if you're looking for a certain topic, then yeah, it probably would show up more for anything. You know? It's just my whole point. So rather than act like a website's like gonna make, I don't know. And at the end of the day, do I care if they ban TikTok? I mean, whatever. They're gonna do what they want. I just don't think that's gonna keep people from using it if they're really like just like in other countries when they ban Google or they limit how you can access Google, people just use a VPN or they use bootleg something or other and they still access it. You think people like nobody in China ever looks at TikTok or YouTube? They do. Like there's people, if they have money and resources, they do. So you can ban anything you want. You can restrict anything you want as much as you can. But at the end of the day, is that going to keep people from using something? It might keep the majority of people because, like, okay, for example, during Prohibition, not everybody went to a speakeasy. Like, I know they're saying, oh, everybody went to a speakeasy. A lot of people were just like, whatever, you can't drink. Sober up. Like, in Middle America, I know, like, when they talk about Prohibition, I don't know, I don't like drinking at all. But part of the reason it didn't work was just because, well, people didn't agree with it. So, yeah, look up the history of U.S. Prohibition. It was a failure, the biggest failure. But some people thought it was really good stuff. But some people, like a lot of people in Middle American mainstream communities, like when they stopped serving liquor, they were just like, okay, well, not everybody bought moonshine. Not everybody made moonshine, you know? So, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting with these human deities. I don't know what to say about all this. I don't know anything under the sun. Okay, so I'm kind of having a discussion with Aya because I was thinking about this. So I was gonna try and go on her live stream a bit more. So there was just something that we're kind of discussing that we might bring up as a topic, and it was something I saw a video on. Just it has something to do like not exactly chimpanzees, but kind of related, sort of, but not really. All the tingles slowly out of my hair. How long have I been doing that? There's no WhatsApp number for you, dear. I don't know you. I'm not WhatsApping you. See, that's the thing though. Like, what I'm trying to figure out for this thing about like you, I want to use like okay, so this is another angle to TikTok, YouTube. To me, like how we do it, like how I do it. Is talking with Aya, like we won't talk about something unless it's something that we create ourselves or it's like some sort of public domain footage we can use for something because we were talking about this. And yeah, I don't. This is one reason I've never done this on social media. Like some people, they use a video or they react to something somebody else is saying, or they just use like footage of other people. And I don't know, I don't really like that. So we don't really do that. So we're just talking about this. I don't think it's gonna like this thing I want to do is gonna work because I feel like you need to have your own content, you know? So I think like yeah, that's the thing. Like I think that's the thing though. Like even if something's interesting, if it's not something that's fair use that you can use, like I just won't use it. Like and also too, I think it's also is it in good taste? Like is it in good taste to always talk about I guess like if your content is like about celebrities, like yeah, you're gonna talk about celebrities, but some of the stuff I don't know, like where people react to like different videos on YouTube and they didn't really have permission to use those videos. It's just kind of to me, it's kind of strange. Like so I don't know. I don't think the stuff I'm looking for exists. So anyhow, sometimes I want to do like different topics, but I feel like it's more creative. I think when you try to use things that you create yourself, that also means that you're not gonna like trend. You won't be trending as much sometimes, but that's actually a good thing. I feel like because like the search results I was showing you that didn't have like as many trending things were things that were more just like timeless. I don't really want to be trending. I kind of just want to be timeless. That's my opinion. looking at this thing on the TikTok land where somebody replied to my comment, but I had nothing to say about it because I'm just not going to reply because I knew that was probably going to happen because I didn't agree with something that somebody, and it wasn't even heated. It was just something about they were saying that Hailey Bieber doesn't have a personality, and I just said, well, why does she need a personality for other people? And I don't usually even comment on things like that, but there's YouTube things like that. I didn't even know who she was until I looked at like some YouTube video where they were talking about her. Nor do I really care. I don't even know who the actors are in most shows nowadays. Like I was watching Magnificent Century for a while, but I've kind of stopped. I stopped with that too, and then I watched a lot of Cosm. I didn't even watch all of Magnificent Century Cosm. I don't know. I just don't watch shows. Like I watch some YouTube and I watch some TikTok, but in general, I don't like TV that much. I don't like TV shows that much, or even shows that stream. Like there's nothing that's really streaming that I want to see. I just don't, you know. Probably let this site go too long without filming it. So I just kind of I go back through. I feel like I'm just trying to get rid of all the tingly things everywhere. Okay, that's probably another thing that I want to talk about. So a lot of people said wavy hair styling, like they wanted to style their hair like in a wavy technique to like accentuate the waviness of their hair. But personally, I don't do that either because I tried it one time. I didn't even really use the styling methods that the wavy people use. And then I have this. I'm always buying like I have a lot of regret if I buy something and I don't use it. But I really just need to like start throwing away things. Like I don't want to throw away things per se. But there's just some things I need to throw out. Like there were some because I got curious for a while and I don't even know why I got curious about it. I just became curious about wavy hair products. And I don't even like the ingredients that are in gels. I don't really feel like they are healthier for your hair. Like personally, for me, I don't want to put that on my hair. Like I might leave a conditioner on my hair, but that to me feels different than a gel. I just don't want to put gel in my hair. You know, it's not something I want to do. So I just put oils and detangling spray in my hair. I have a little bit of the OGX like argan oil. I mean, I know a lot of people like they're anti OGX, but I didn't really have a problem with it. I might just put a little bit in throughout this section, a little tiny bit. grapefruit smoothie. It's very pungent. This is never like this is not the endorsed kind of wavy hair detangling. I just brush out my hair, and it kind of gets wavy on its own again, but not in a way like I think because right now it seems like before it was all about straightening the hair and then recurling the hair. Although some people are getting back into that where you straighten the hair and you recurl the hair with a certain pattern. But I'm all just about to me. This is really cool. I love how much longer my hair is getting, by the way. I just like personally. This is just the way I like to do it. I like to just brush and comb out my hair. Like I don't have to do it like a specific special way. I feel like there's just so many rules about how you're supposed to style your hair, and I just don't really agree. Like I didn't, and like I said, I didn't like the ingredients in a lot of those curl gels and curl creams. Even though I use leave-in conditioner, but for me, what I didn't like about it was you couldn't brush through your hair like this. This leaves my hair soft, like very manageable, where I can brush through it. I love this stuff. Like after I put this stuff in my hair, it's very soft, it's manageable. I brush through it. Even though I did do a henna indigo like type of application a month ago, I did notice my hair has grown a lot. And I think my hair ordinarily does grow, but I think just this new routine, like I've always done oil, but I just kind of like this detangling spray I've been doing right now. And where I get my hair wet, like I've probably been doing more like getting my hair wet, like wetting my hair down in the shower. Like even when I'm taking a shower, I just let the shower head hit my roots a lot. I don't wear a shower cap. And just like putting more water in my hair. I just really like this method of like combing out my hair. After I've done like some finger detailing and combing out with my brush, I'm gonna let my hair dry a little bit, and then I will get my wet brush a little wet too. But I'll do like a second round where I brush out my hair more. And I just kind of like doing that. Like, and then I feel like I do need to put some oil, even though this Minoy oil is pretty like solid right now. When I tip it over, I don't know, put some water into it. That might. I feel like if I put some water into it and some oil comes out with it. There's just something about that. So I don't use like any special like oils. Well, I use my Aussie detangling spray. I want to make an olive oil rosemary kind of detangling spray. It's something I've been wanting to do, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And I've been using this, my Minoy oil. which I just put some water in right now because I feel like the water will bring some of the oil out and help melt it a little. Just trying to detangle the back parts of my hair a little. Oh boy, do not drop down there, man. You know my drop stuff. Anyway, up on to the side.